Why does the moon never turn its face away from us? For billions of years, one half has basked in sunlight while the other remains hidden, silent, eternal. It feels almost intentional, as if the moon were shy, guarding one side of its face from human eyes. But beneath that poetic illusion lies one of the most fascinating mechanical dances in the cosmos, a delicate balance between gravity, motion, and time itself. Tonight, we're not just gazing upward. We're floating through the invisible threads that bind Earth and Moon together. Picture yourself standing beneath a clear night sky, the air still, the stars sharp and endless. The moon hangs above, motionless to your eyes, and yet you are moving. Earth spins beneath your feet, carrying you eastward at nearly 1,000 miles an hour. The illusion of stillness is a trick of perspective. But why the moon? Why does it never seem to spin the way everything else does? Every planet rotates, every star turns, every galaxy swirls. Yet our moon keeps its same pale face turned toward us, always. This mystery, simple to ask but profound to understand, is an invitation to slow down, to feel the physics of connection, the tension between movement and stillness, between dependence and freedom. If quiet science helps you unwind, if wonder has ever been your favorite lullaby, you can always linger here with me. Each story we share, each orbit we trace together, keeps this small corner of the universe glowing a little longer. So, traveler, take a slow breath. Tonight, we'll drift through the mathematics of grace, the locked embrace of two celestial bodies, the tidal tug that taught the moon to stop spinning, and the hidden truth behind why it never truly stands still. Let's begin. To the naked eye, the moon seems frozen in the sky, a luminous coin pinned against velvet darkness. Night after night, its craters and shadows remain the same. The sea of tranquility, the jagged rim of Tycho, the faint scars of ancient impacts, always identical. But that stillness is a mirage. In truth, the moon is not motionless at all. It's spinning, precisely, perfectly, just fast enough to keep one hemisphere hidden forever. Imagine a slow waltz between two dancers who never break eye contact. As they turn, each step keeps them facing one another, their movements symmetrical, locked in rhythm. That's what Earth and the moon are doing. The moon rotates once every time it orbits Earth. One spin for one trip, a delicate choreography called tidal locking. This synchronization isn't coincidence. It's the result of an ancient struggle. Billions of years ago, when the moon was young and molten, it spun much faster. But Earth's gravity tugged on it unevenly, stretching its near side more than its far side. That constant gravitational friction, those endless tidal pulls, acted like brakes, slowing the moon's spin until it matched the length of its orbit. Now, every time the moon circles Earth, it turns exactly once, no faster, no slower. To us, that balance looks like stillness, but it's actually motion in perfect disguise, rotation hidden inside revolution. The moon's face is always changing position. It's just changing at the same pace we move around it. Scientists describe this balance as a form of equilibrium, a dynamic peace. The energy that once tore tides across the young moon's crust has long since dissipated, leaving only gentle motion. It's a portrait of cosmic patience. Billions of years spent slowing down until harmony replaced chaos. Look closely, though, and the illusion cracks. Over time, the moon rocks slightly, a motion known as libration. Because its orbit is not a perfect circle, we see up to 59% of its surface from Earth, not just half. It nods and sways, as if breathing. That subtle motion is a reminder. Even in perfect systems, imperfection endures. From our perspective, the moon is a mirror of devotion. It orbits endlessly yet never turns away, as if it were guarding its far side like a secret. But from physics' perspective, it's a negotiation, gravity's way of teaching compromise. Two bodies, bound by invisible tension, have found a pace where both can coexist without tearing each other apart. It's tempting to romanticize this stillness, to see it as serenity. But tidal locking is also a scar. It tells the story of violence, of oceans of magma dragged by gravitational tides, of internal heat lost to friction. What appears peaceful now was born from turmoil, much like all balance in the universe. Every rotation, every orbit, is a memory of that struggle. The crust cooled, the spin slowed, and the moon learned patience the hard way. The lesson was written into its orbit, that even celestial bodies must eventually surrender to gravity's embrace. To think of the moon as motionless is to forget that we, too, are moving. As Earth spins beneath our feet, it carries us at 1,000 miles per hour toward the dawn. We orbit the sun at 19 miles per second. The entire solar system races around the Milky Way at 500,000 miles per hour. And yet, the moon looks still. Stillness, then, is relative. It's not a lack of motion, but a balance of motions. The moon's apparent stillness is the result of perfect timing, an alignment of rotation and orbit that cancels the appearance of change. In physics, that harmony is rare. In poetry, it's sacred. NASA's laser measurements confirm it. The moon's rotation period is exactly 2732 days, the same as its orbital period. Every crater, every ridge, every shadow has been performing this same quiet dance for more than 4 billion years. The consistency is astonishing. It's as if time itself agreed to slow down, just to preserve that face we've come to know. There's something deeply human about our relationship with the moon. We project emotion onto it. Loneliness, nostalgia, hope. We call it she, mother, muse. But the truth is more mechanical and more profound. The moon's loyalty is born not of choice, but of physics. It faces us not because it wants to, but because the universe demanded balance. And yet, doesn't that make it even more beautiful? That such an unfeeling system can produce something that feels intimate, a companion that watches silently over us, unchanged across generations. The same face that guided ancient farmers and frightened poets still looks down tonight, carved by the same light. When astronauts first orbited behind it, they became the first humans to see the far side, an alien world of craters and shadows untouched by Earth's gaze. In that moment, humanity broke a spell millions of years old. For the first time, the moon truly turned its back, not by movement, but by perspective. That hidden hemisphere, darker and rougher, tells the rest of the story. It bears more impact scars because it faces away from Earth's protection. The near side, our familiar friend, is smoother, shielded by the gravitational cradle that binds them. Every world keeps its secrets. The moon simply does so more elegantly. The more we study it, the more the illusion of simplicity dissolves. There's no true dark side of the moon. Every part receives sunlight. But there is a far side, a reminder that every relationship, even gravitational, has its unseen depths. When we look at the moon, we are not seeing the same thing as those before us. We are seeing the same light. The photons bouncing from its surface tonight are only a few seconds old, but the relationship they illuminate is eternal. The moon is not just orbiting Earth, it's orbiting memory. In that sense, tidal locking is more than science, it's metaphor. The moon's unwavering face mirrors our longing for permanence in a universe that never stops changing. It reminds us that even motion can look like rest, that balance is not the absence of struggle, but its quiet aftermath. So the next time you stand under the night sky and feel the illusion of stillness, remember, everything around you, even your stillness, is movement, perfectly tuned. You are spinning, orbiting, drifting through a cosmic waltz billions of years in progress. The moon isn't still. It simply mastered the art of moving without leaving. And in that silent mastery lies a lesson. Peace is not found in stopping, but in synchrony, when your rhythm finally matches the orbit of something greater than yourself. Every relationship in the cosmos begins with motion and resistance. The story of the moon's stillness began not in silence but in chaos. When it was born, torn from Earth's crust after a colossal impact with a Mars-sized body, the young moon was a sphere of molten rock, glowing red, spinning wildly. Its orbit was closer then, its pull on Earth enormous. The tides it created could have drowned continents, roaring thousands of feet high, reshaping entire oceans twice each day. Those tides were more than water. They were energy in motion. As Earth's oceans surged toward the moon and then fell away, friction between land and sea stole energy from the rotation of both worlds. Earth's spin began to slow. The moon's orbit began to drift outward. And within the moon itself, internal tides, vast bulges of molten rock, were being dragged back and forth, generating heat and resistance. That resistance became gravity's brake pedal. Over millions of years, those inner tides slowed the moon's rotation, converting spin into heat, then into stillness. The process was so gradual, so patient, that even if you had watched for 1,000,000 lifetimes, you would never notice the change. Yet across eons, gravity was sculpting behavior, teaching the moon to move in rhythm, not rebellion. If you could somehow speed time up, see millions of years play out in seconds, you'd watch the moon spin gradually sync with its orbit, like a pendulum finding its natural beat. You'd see it wobble, adjust, and finally settle into the same face we see now. Tidal locking wasn't sudden. It was a long exhale of motion, slowing into harmony. Scientists at NASA described this as energy minimization. The moon found the easiest, most stable configuration possible, one rotation per orbit. Anything faster or slower would waste energy, and nature despises waste. Over billions of years, gravity has been optimizing motion, trimming chaos into elegance, polishing disorder into simplicity. And though we call it locking, it's not truly locked. The system is alive. Earth's pull still slows its own rotation by fractions of a second each century, and the moon still drifts away, about 3.8 centimeters per year. The same process that froze its face continues to ripple through time, unhurried, unstoppable. Each night, when you see the moon's reflection stretching over the sea, you're watching ancient physics still at work. The tides rise and fall because the moon's gravity pulls Earth's oceans toward it, forming a bulge. But Earth rotates beneath that bulge, carrying the oceans slightly ahead of the line between Earth and moon. That offset keeps transferring energy, nudging the moon farther away like a slow dance that never ends. It's hard to grasp this scale of motion. In the time it takes you to breathe, the moon has drifted about the width of an atom farther from Earth. Over the course of your lifetime, that adds up to roughly the width of your hand. Over geological time, continents shift and oceans deepen, but the moon keeps retreating, one silent inch at a time. And yet, that retreat doesn't feel like loss. It's evolution, a transformation from violent intimacy to graceful distance. The tides that once tore at the moon's crust are now the same tides that cradle our coastlines, that shape our rhythms of life, that guide migrations and births. The same gravity that once bruised the young world now rocks our planet to sleep. The poet in you might say the moon learned forgiveness. The scientist might call it equilibrium. Both are right. The universe often hides tenderness behind equations. Inside the moon, ancient heat still lingers, the fossil of its tidal past. When orbiters measure its internal temperature, they detect warmth that shouldn't exist for a world so small and cold. That warmth is history glowing faintly, the residual sigh of billions of years of stretching and slowing. The term tidal heating feels technical, but what it really describes is transformation through endurance. Imagine a heart learning to beat slower, to conserve itself, until peace feels like perfection. The moon achieved that, not through stillness, but through surrender to rhythm. On Earth, our oceans remember that story. Every high tide is an echo of the moon's old resistance, every low tide its acceptance. The waves don't just move water, they move time, tracing an ancient conversation between two celestial bodies still learning balance. If you listen at a quiet shore, beneath the hum of wind and the pull of the waves, there's a rhythm that feels older than sound. That rhythm is gravity's memory, the pulse that connects you, the Earth and the moon in a single pattern. It's the heartbeat of motion slowed into song. When the Apollo missions left instruments on the moon's surface, they revealed something remarkable. It still trembles. These moonquakes are weak but persistent, echoes of gravitational stress that never fully disappear. Even now, the Earth and moon tug on each other, stretching, whispering, adjusting. Stillness, in truth, is a conversation that never ends. From a human perspective, we crave permanence, but the moon's lesson is subtler. Nothing stops, not even peace. The tides that tamed it are still taming us, synchronizing hearts and oceans, teaching that balance is motion mastered. Every full moon, when the tides rise higher, we are reminded that gravity isn't just a force, it's a relationship. It binds without chains, moves without speech, loves without needing to be seen. The moon doesn't fight gravity, it listens to it. And that, perhaps, is its most human quality. It obeys not out of weakness, but out of wisdom, a recognition that harmony is stronger than defiance. So when you look at the moon tonight, know this: what you see is not stillness, but a truce. The tides have taught it the oldest cosmic truth, that freedom is found not in escape but in rhythm. And maybe that's why we find it so calming to look up. Because somewhere in its silence, we recognize ourselves, still learning how to move without resisting, how to turn without losing sight of what we orbit. There was a time when the moon was a blazing wound in Earth's sky. It hung much closer then, so close that it filled the heavens 20 times larger than it does today. The air shimmered with heat from a world still half molten. Mountains trembled, oceans boiled, and every night the newborn moon painted the horizon red with reflected fire. It was not yet gentle. It was wild, spinning fast, throwing light like sparks from a forge. In those first millions of years, Earth and moon were still defining each other. The collision that birthed them, the impact of a Mars-sized body called Theia, had fused destinies forever. From that violent merging, one world became two. The debris ring surrounding the young Earth condensed, fused and cooled until the moon was born. It was a second heartbeat orbiting a wounded planet. Back then, the moon spun freely, completing several rotations in a single orbit. To the surface below, it would have appeared to dance across the sky, showing every side, every scar, to its partner planet. It was restless, refusing to be tamed by gravity's whisper, but in the cosmos, energy never stays wild for long. Chaos always finds a rhythm, even if it takes billions of years to settle. As the molten moon cooled, its crust thickened, but deep within, heat and friction still churned. Earth's gravity pulled unevenly, stretching and squeezing it, generating internal tides of magma. Each tidal surge acted as a brake, slowing its spin. Like a top gradually losing momentum, the moon began to drift toward synchronization. It was an invisible negotiation, force meeting resistance, motion meeting memory. If you stood on the surface of that young moon, you'd feel its instability. Quakes rippling through the crust, lava flooding basins, horizons flickering between day and night in rapid succession. You'd look up at Earth, enormous, glowing, spinning faster than now, and see continents shift beneath veils of storm. The entire solar system seemed alive, a living organism exhaling fire and dust. Scientists believe that during this early chaos, the moon's distance from Earth was only about 20,000 kilometers, closer than some of our satellites today. The gravitational forces were unimaginable. Earth's pull raised mountain-high bulges in the lunar crust, while the moon's tug generated tides that stretched entire oceans. It was intimacy bordering on violence, love expressed through tension. Over time, the moon began to move away. Its orbit widened, its spin slowed, and its heat began to fade. The once glowing surface hardened into basalt plains, the Maria we see today. Those dark patches are fossilized lava oceans, the fingerprints of its youth. If you trace their outlines, you're reading a geological diary of rebellion turned calm. The moon's craters also tell part of that story. During its early days, the inner solar system was still littered with debris. Asteroids and comets bombarded both Earth and Moon, pockmarking their surfaces. Earth healed with plate tectonics and atmosphere. The Moon, airless and still, kept every scar. That's why it looks old, because it remembers everything. Each crater is a frozen moment of transformation, an impact that released enough energy to melt rock, to vaporize mountains, to alter rotation slightly. Those impacts helped shape the distribution of mass beneath its crust. Over eons, that imbalance became one of the keys to tidal locking. The moon's heavier side naturally faced Earth, stabilizing its orientation. It's poetic in a way. That imperfection led to order. The unevenness of the moon, its bulges, scars, and asymmetries, created the exact conditions that would later synchronize its spin. Perfection didn't cause balance. Imperfection did. The moon's serenity was sculpted by flaws that refused to disappear. Even now, seismometers left by Apollo astronauts detect faint tremors, echoes of that wild past. The crust flexes slightly under Earth's gravity, proof that the relationship still breathes. The moon may appear ancient and quiet, but beneath its surface lies memory in motion, heat, pressure, and the slow hum of geological time. The far side, rougher and thicker, remains an unsolved mystery. Why does one hemisphere bear so many scars, while the other rests smooth and calm? The answer may lie in that same asymmetry, an early imbalance of heat that caused the near side to cool faster, forming seas of lava, while the far side hardened into highlands. It's as though the moon carries two personalities, one gentle, one fierce. For astronomers, studying that duality is like reading two versions of the same myth. One speaks of stillness, the other of struggle. Both are true, and together they form the complete story. As the billions of years passed, sunlight faded from its glowing crust and dust began to gather. Meteorites continued to strike, slowly grinding rock into the powdery regolith that now coats the surface. Each particle of that dust has its own lineage: crushed asteroid, vaporized comet, ancient fire. When astronauts left their footprints there, They stepped on the ashes of the solar system's birth. That dust tells another secret. Its grains contain records of solar radiation, magnetic fields, and even fragments of Earth's own atmosphere carried outward by solar wind. The Moon has been quietly archiving our planet's history for eons, preserving data in silence. In a sense, it's not just a companion, it's an ancient library, orbiting patiently above us. When you look at the Moon through a telescope, you're peering through time. Every shadow, every ridge, every luminous plane is a photograph billions of years in the making. It's the most accessible relic of cosmic memory we'll ever touch. The irony is that the Moon's wild youth, its violence, its collisions, its spinning chaos, is what allows it to appear peaceful now. Its calm is earned. Stillness is the afterglow of exhaustion, not the absence of movement. There's a quiet lesson hidden in that evolution. What begins in fire may end in reflection. The Moon was once an engine of destruction, now it's a mirror of serenity. Energy doesn't disappear, it transforms into beauty, into rhythm, into light that lulls us to sleep. Even the Apollo astronauts, standing in that stark silence, described a sense of peace beyond words. Magnificent desolation, Buzz Aldrin called it, beauty born from ruin. That phrase has become the Moon's epitaph and its anthem. When we study the Moon's past, we're studying ourselves. We too began in chaos, collisions of cells, emotions, and dreams, until experience shaped our orbit, slowed our spin, and taught us balance. The Moon's story is not alien. It's our story told in stone and light. And so, when you see it tonight, quiet and pale against the sky, remember the truth. What seems peaceful was once wild beyond imagination. Stillness, as the Moon shows us, is not the start of the story. It's the reward. When we gaze up at the Moon, we're seeing the same hemisphere our ancestors saw thousands of years ago. That luminous face, marked by the sea of tranquility and the ocean of storms, has not turned away since humanity first looked skyward. It's a portrait in motionless devotion, a memory so constant that it feels eternal. And yet, beneath that calm facade, physics hums with precision, always balancing motion and gravity in perfect silence. Tidal locking ensures that this same face will remain for eons to come. Every crater, every shadow, every shimmering plane will still gaze back at us long after our species fades. The Moon is like a clock whose hands no longer move, but whose mechanism still ticks, invisible and tireless. It's not frozen. It's synchronized, caught in the exquisite geometry of orbit and rotation. The side we see, familiar and pale, feels almost human in its expression. We name its features after our emotions: seas of serenity, crises, fertility, and clouds. But these are not seas at all. They are the remnants of massive lava flows, ancient wounds that cooled into mirrors. The Moon's face is scar tissue made beautiful by time and light. If we could see the far side from Earth, the illusion of harmony would fracture. That hidden hemisphere is rougher, more cratered and colder, untouched by the warmth of our gaze. It receives the same sunlight, yet feels lonelier, as though it carries the unspoken half of the Moon's story. Still, its unseen presence completes the balance, reminding us that even beauty needs darkness to be whole. The Moon's locked face is not a still photograph, but a living map of geological memory. Seismographs, once placed by Apollo astronauts, revealed faint tremors deep below the surface, slow shifts of rock responding to Earth's pull. The same gravitational embrace that keeps its face turned also keeps its interior breathing, flexing, whispering through the dust. Every 27 days, the Moon performs a precise pirouette, turning once on its axis, matching its orbit exactly. That coincidence is so perfect it feels mystical, Yet it's simply mathematics expressed through time. The energy of billions of years has shaped that synchronization, transforming chaos into choreography. Even its subtle imperfections, its gentle rocking called libration, are part of the dance. Because the orbit is elliptical, the moon wobbles slightly as it moves, allowing us to glimpse edges of the far side. It's as though it's exhaling, leaning just enough to reveal a little more of itself, but never too much. Mystery is preserved through restraint. For centuries, this locked orientation made people believe the moon was flawless, smooth, polished, divine. Only with telescopes did we discover its scars, its pits, its complexity. That revelation didn't destroy its mystery, it deepened it. The more we see, the more we understand that perfection in nature always hides struggle beneath its glow. To the ancients, the moon's unchanging face symbolized order in a chaotic sky. While stars drifted and planets wandered, it remained faithful. Poets called it a silent guardian, philosophers a mirror of heaven. Even now, in an age of physics and data, that constancy feels sacred. Science has not erased wonder, it has refined it. The moon's rotation and orbit form a gravitational duet, a slow and eternal embrace between partners who never let go. Their center of mass lies not within Earth, but slightly beneath its surface, meaning both bodies actually orbit a shared point in space. It's a delicate balance, a truth that reminds us that nothing revolves around one alone. This relationship extends its influence to every shore on Earth. The tides breathe with the moon's rhythm, oceans rising and falling in response to its pull. That invisible connection is what keeps life dynamic. Without it, our planet's ecosystems, even our climate, might never have developed as they did. The moon's stillness shaped Earth's pulse. From a cosmic perspective, this balance is fragile. Small perturbations, the pull of the sun or distant planetary alignments could, over millions of years, alter the harmony. Yet so far it holds, gravity is patient, and its patience outlasts everything. The locked face is more than a curiosity. It's a reminder that connection requires surrender. The moon gave up its independence to achieve stability. In doing so, it became an emblem of loyalty, orbiting endlessly without breaking eye contact. There's an almost mythic symmetry in that idea. Every time you look up, the same features look back. The craters don't blink, the shadows don't shift. The moon listens, unjudging, unhurried, ancient. It's the universe's way of reminding us that constancy can exist even within perpetual motion. Astronomers can predict exactly which face of the moon will point toward Earth thousands of years from now. That certainty feels rare in a universe driven by change. Stars explode, galaxies drift apart, but the moon remains a fixed companion. Its face becomes a kind of cosmic anchor, a stable image against the chaos of expansion. In ancient myth, people imagined gods or spirits trapped in the moon. Lovers, tricksters, dreamers turned to stone. They sensed intuitively what physics would later confirm, that stillness often hides tension, that harmony comes from forces in conflict. Those myths weren't wrong. They were metaphors written in starlight. To modern science, the moon's locked rotation is simply the outcome of angular momentum and gravitational torque. Yet describing it that way misses the poetry of it. This isn't just motion reduced to numbers, it's the choreography of inevitability. Even formulas, and when read slowly enough, sound like prayers. The face we see at night is a survivor. It has endured cosmic bombardment, radiation, and the relentless pull of gravity. It has lost its spin, but gained eternity. It's a paradox. Motion that became permanence, chaos that found peace. When the first humans saw that far side through the eyes of spacecraft, they realized how much of the familiar moon was illusion. Behind the face of serenity was rawness, untouched, severe, haunting. The contrast was breathtaking. Even the moon, constant and unblinking, holds multitudes. The locked face of eternity is both a truth and a metaphor. Physically, it's the result of tidal forces. Spiritually, it's a symbol of devotion. To remain turned towards something, endlessly, faithfully, is not weakness. It's the highest form of endurance. As the light of each new night falls across its features, the moon reminds us that eternity isn't a place, but a posture. It's the art of staying in motion while appearing still, of orbiting something greater and finding peace in the pull. And in that slow, perfect turning, one rotation for one revolution, the universe reveals one of its quietest miracles. That stillness, when understood deeply enough, is simply motion remembered. Gravity doesn't shout. It whispers. It pulls without touching, commands without cruelty, shapes everything while remaining invisible. It is the oldest relationship in existence, the silent agreement that keeps stars in their galaxies, planets in their orbits, and you standing on the ground. The moon is one of gravity's purest conversations, an endless exchange of motion and surrender that began before there was life to watch. When Newton described gravity as a universal law, he was really describing a language. Every mass speaks it. Every atom bends to its tone. The Earth calls, and the moon answers, not with words, but with tides, orbits, and tiny adjustments we can measure with lasers and patience. Each pull, each response creates harmony, the kind of perfection no human hand could orchestrate. The moon's orbit isn't a perfect circle, it's an ellipse that changes shape slightly every month. That imperfection keeps the system alive. When the moon is closer, the tides rise higher, and Earth's oceans bulge more deeply toward it. When it moves farther away, gravity's grasp softens, and the seas relax. It's a cosmic breathing. Inhale, exhale, repeated endlessly across millennia. Astronomers track these oscillations with exquisite precision. The moon's path wobbles by fractions of a degree, its distance varies by thousands of kilometers, and yet the dance never falters. It's gravity's rhythm, one so delicate that even the sun's distant tug participates, joining the conversation like a low hum beneath a melody. The most astonishing truth is that this dialogue never ends. Gravity is infinite in reach, its influence stretching far beyond what the eye can see. The same pull that binds the moon to Earth also ties the Milky Way to its neighboring galaxies, and the galaxies to clusters, and the clusters to threads of dark matter. The universe is one great gravitational fabric, vibrating softly with the music of motion. We can feel it even here, in subtle ways. When the moon passes overhead, your weight changes slightly, less than a gram, but real. You become, for a brief moment, lighter. It's a reminder that we are participants in this cosmic tension, not observers outside it. The universe tugs at us constantly, asking only that we stay in orbit with wonder. Every photograph from the Apollo missions shows the same truth. The moon is not just turning around Earth, it's falling toward it perpetually, missing the ground with perfect timing. That's what an orbit is, continuous falling that never arrives. The only thing preventing collision is momentum, the exquisite balance of speed and attraction. That equilibrium between falling and escaping is one of nature's masterpieces. It's why planets survive, why galaxies hold together, why we can even speak of up and down. The moon doesn't defy gravity, it perfects it. It demonstrates that surrender and motion can coexist. On Earth, the tides reveal this partnership in real time. They rise under the moon's gaze and retreat as it moves on. Twice each day, entire oceans follow its pull, swelling and falling like breath. To stand at the edge of the sea is to witness the cosmos in motion. to feel the same forces shaping continents, guiding life, and defining time itself. Those tides aren't just water moving, they're clocks ticking. Ancient navigators read them to cross oceans. Farmers watch them to predict the seasons. Poets listen to them as metaphors for love and loss. The moon's pull choreographs our biology too, influencing coral spawning, animal migrations, even the menstrual rhythms of the human body. It's easy to forget how deep that connection runs. Gravity doesn't care about our awareness, yet it moves through us like a second pulse. It aligns our oceans, balances our stride, and reminds us that we're built for belonging, not isolation. To exist under gravity is to exist in relation. When Einstein reimagined gravity as curvature in space-time, he gave it poetry again. In his vision, mass doesn't pull, it bends. The moon isn't being yanked by Earth. It's gliding along the curved surface of space itself. Imagine a marble rolling endlessly around a depression, effortless, serene, inevitable. That's the truth hidden behind the illusion of falling. Every orbit, then, is a story of geometry and grace. The moon's path is an ellipse carved not by will, but by the structure of reality. It moves because space-time tells it to move. Space-time curves because mass tells it to curve. It's a dialogue that predates consciousness and will outlast it. This curvature is not just physical, it's aesthetic. The arc of a tide, the roundness of a planet, the looping of galaxies, all expressions of gravity's art. The cosmos is sculpted not by violence, but by attraction. Even chaos is just motion trying to find balance. The moon feels Earth's pull, yes, but Earth feels the moon's too. They orbit a shared point, their gravitational hearts intertwined. That invisible center, called the barycenter, lies roughly 1,700 kilometers beneath Earth's surface. It's a quiet truth. We do not hold the moon captive. We move together, two travelers tethered by invisible thread. In that mutual motion, there's a metaphor for every relationship. Tension balanced by trust, closeness moderated by freedom. Too near, and they'd collide. Too far, and the bond would break. The beauty of gravity is that it teaches moderation even in infinity. At times, the moon's orbit tilts, aligning precisely with Earth's shadow. During those moments, we see an eclipse, the brief alignment of three celestial bodies breathing in unison. Darkness passes across the moon like a whisper, and for a few minutes, the universe reminds us how fragile balance truly is. To ancient people, eclipses were omens, moments when heaven itself seemed to falter. To modern minds, they're miracles of timing, geometry, and patience. Either way, the emotion remains, awe. Every eclipse proves that we live inside precision so vast it feels divine. Even now, when the moon glows full and enormous on the horizon, we feel that same pull in our chests, something instinctive, ancestral. It's the echo of gravity, not just physical but emotional, a reminder that we too orbit things we love. In the future, as the moon continues its slow drift outward, that echo will change. The tides will weaken, eclipses will fade, the balance will evolve. But gravity will still bind the story together, reweaving it into new forms. Perhaps that is gravity's greatest secret. It doesn't end things, but it transforms them. It turns collapse into orbit, chaos into structure, loneliness into connection. The moon doesn't spin freely anymore, but in its surrender, it found rhythm, and through that rhythm, eternity. So when you see it tonight, know that you're not just looking at a rock orbiting Earth. You're watching gravity itself, the invisible hand that sculpts time, balances light, and whispers to everything that drifts. Stay close enough to fall, but far enough to move. And in that quiet, invisible pull, you'll find the same truth written in your heartbeat, the gentle gravity that holds you here. reminding you that stillness, love, and orbit are all the same word spoken in different forms. Beneath the moon's dust and craters lies a secret few imagine. It has a heart, not a beating one, but a metallic core, small, dense, and faintly warm. For centuries, astronomers thought the moon was a dead stone, hollow and inert. But seismic data from Apollo missions revealed subtle tremors, signs that deep within, something still moves. The moon's interior may be quiet, but it is not silent. When astronauts placed seismometers on the lunar surface, they detected moonquakes. Some were caused by meteor impacts, others by Earth's tidal pull. These quakes revealed that the moon's crust flexes slightly, like a bone remembering strain. That flexing hints at an inner structure layered with memory, a solid iron core surrounded by molten boundaries, remnants of a once fiery youth. Scientists estimate that the moon's core is roughly 350 kilometers wide, small compared to Earth's, but massive enough to shape its destiny. It's what helps stabilize its orbit, maintain its orientation, and preserve that gravitational dialogue with Earth. In the same way your heartbeat keeps rhythm with your breath, the moon's core keeps time with its motion. That metallic center formed early, when heavy elements like iron sank, while lighter silicates floated to the surface. As it cooled, the crust thickened, and the mantle hardened into a protective shell. Yet traces of warmth remain, ancient heat trapped since the beginning. Thermal readings suggest that the moon is still cooling, ever so slowly, like a candle fading long after the flame is gone. It's poetic, really, the idea that the moon glows with leftover warmth from creation, that deep inside this frozen satellite, a memory of fire persists. Heat, after all, is just movement at a smaller scale, atoms still dancing to a rhythm set billions of years ago. The moon's heart may be small, but it still hums softly with the vibration of birth. Geologists studying the moon's magnetic field found something even stranger. Though it no longer has a global magnetic field, ancient rocks show evidence that it once did. Magnetized minerals suggest a long-extinct dynamo, a molten core spinning fast enough to generate magnetism. The moon was once alive in the electromagnetic sense, protected by an invisible shield like Earth's. That magnetic echo tells us the moon wasn't always this quiet. It had storms of molten metal swirling in its core, driving invisible winds of magnetism into space. Over time, as its rotation slowed and its core cooled, those magnetic storms subsided, fading into stillness. What remains today are faint traces, like fingerprints left on stone. Every magnetic remnant is a clue. It tells of currents once flowing, energy once shared. Scientists use this data to trace the moon's evolution, a forensic study of its inner heartbeat. Through those tiny records, we glimpse not just geology, but endurance, the ability to cool without dying, to change without disappearing. In a way, the moon's heart mirrors our own. Both are forged through pressure and time. Both carry scars that radiate outward. And both, in their silence, keep rhythm with something larger, one with Earth's gravity, the other with life's fragile continuity. When astronauts walked the surface, they described the ground as alive beneath the feet. Their boots sank into dust that shifted slightly with vibration. It was as if the moon itself was listening, reacting. Even in its stillness, it participated in the encounter, storing the echo of every human step. We often think of life as the only sign of vitality, but the moon shows another kind, a geological soul that endures beyond living systems. Its crust, mantle, and core are pages of a story written in pressure and temperature, one that never truly ends. Inside that story is a curious imbalance. The moon's mass isn't evenly distributed. Some regions, especially beneath its maria, are denser, forming mascons, or mass concentrations. These hidden weights distort the moon's gravity field, subtly influencing spacecraft trajectories. They're invisible to the eye, but heavy with consequence. Mascons were discovered when early probes drifted unexpectedly, pulled by unseen gravity beneath the lunar surface. These discoveries transformed our understanding of celestial stability. They proved that even apparent stillness hides complexity, that what looks symmetrical may be full of hidden depth. In a metaphorical sense, the moon's hidden heart and uneven gravity resemble the human condition. We, too, appear balanced from afar, yet within us are dense centers of memory and emotion that shape our path without ever being seen. The moon's far side, heavier and thicker, may hold clues to its asymmetric core. Some theories suggest a massive impact after formation redistributed mass, making one side denser than the other. That unevenness might be why tidal locking settled exactly as it did. The heavier side naturally facing Earth, anchoring the moon's spin. What seems serene, then, is actually precision built from imperfection. The moon is stable because it's unbalanced. That paradox feels almost spiritual. That harmony arises not from symmetry, but from uneven truths finding rhythm together. Deep radar mapping has revealed networks of fractures beneath the crust, relics of ancient contraction as the moon cooled. These fractures tell us the body is still shrinking by centimeters each century. Even in stillness, the moon continues to evolve, folding inward as if drawing itself closer to its center. This slow contraction has caused small quakes and cliff formations called Lobat scarps. They are wrinkles in the skin of an aging world, subtle, graceful, inevitable. The moon, it seems, is still settling into its own stillness. In its quiet evolution lies a lesson about endurance. True peace doesn't come from ceasing to change, but from changing so slowly that transformation feels like rest. The moon's surface may appear timeless, but every grain of dust is shifting imperceptibly. Every ridge is breathing over centuries. Its heart, though faint, keeps this process alive. Without that residual warmth, the lunar crust would be brittle beyond measure. Instead, it remains supple enough to move, to adjust, to whisper back to gravity's call. The next time you see the full moon, imagine its interior, molten whispers, fractured crust, and ancient heat flowing gently through stone. You're not looking at a cold relic, but a body still pulsing softly under cosmic anesthesia. And in that awareness lies a kind of comfort, that even after fire and impact, even after cooling and silence, the heart of a world can keep its rhythm, steady, unseen, unbroken. Perhaps in the end, that's all any of us can hope for. To cool without fading, to endure without noise, to remain quietly alive inside. The moon has no light of its own. It shines because it borrows. Every beam that reaches your eyes began somewhere on the sun, born in nuclear fire, traveling across 93 million miles of emptiness before striking the moon's pale dust and reflecting softly toward Earth. In that reflection lies one of nature's quietest miracles, light turned gentle by distance. That borrowed radiance defines our nights. It softens landscapes, paints silver on rivers, and turns shadows into whispers. Without it, the night sky would be harsher, stars blazing against perfect black. The moon doesn't compete with the dark. It tempers it, translating the violence of the sun into something the human heart can rest beneath. When photons hit the lunar surface, they scatter across tiny grains of rock called regolith. These particles are jagged and glassy, the product of billions of micrometeorite impacts. Because of their sharp structure, they reflect light in a peculiar way. They glow brighter when the observer looks directly along the angle of the sun. That's why a full moon seems to bloom suddenly, almost impossibly luminous. This phenomenon is known as the opposition surge. It's a subtle optical effect. but it makes the full moon appear alive, as though responding to our gaze. In truth, it's just geometry and dust. Yet somehow, knowing that doesn't make it less beautiful. It makes it more miraculous, that lifeless rock and harsh sunlight can combine to create serenity. The moon's brightness is deceptive. Its albedo, or reflectivity, is only about 12% indeed darker than asphalt. What makes it appear so radiant is contrast. Against the abyss of space, even modest reflection becomes glory. The moon teaches us that brilliance is often context, not composition. When you see its glow on the horizon, remember that every photon took more than a second to travel from sun to moon to you. That tiny delay means you're seeing light already past, history glowing faintly in the present. The moon's beauty is time itself, rendered visible. Astronomers call its light earthshine when reflected back again. On crescent nights, you can sometimes see the dark side faintly illuminated by sunlight bouncing from Earth. A mirror within a mirror, that dim glow is us, lighting the moon while it lights us in return. It's a cosmic handshake between worlds. Earthshine is a subtle but profound reminder. Illumination is rarely one way. The moon brightens us, but we brighten it too. Every reflection is a relationship. In that shared light, planet and satellite exchange visibility, each existing more vividly because of the other. Throughout history, civilizations have lived by this light. Farmers timed their harvests to it, travelers navigated by it, poets dreamed under it. The full moon has been a calendar, a compass, and a confidant. Its soft glow stitched night into human routine long before electricity. We evolved in its rhythm, our sleep, tides, and myths shaped by the same silvery pulse. Even now, its phases define our months. The word month itself comes from moon. Each waxing and waning marks a reminder that cycles are nature's heartbeat, that all brightness fades and returns in its own time. But the light we see is not constant. The moon's surface changes tone as the sun's angle shifts. During a full moon, the illumination is direct, flattening shadows and muting depth. During a crescent, light rakes across the terrain, revealing every ridge, crater, and mountain in sharp relief. The moon becomes a sculpture of light and absence, carved anew each night. To astronomers, this changing texture is data, revealing composition, mineral density, and geological age. To poets, it's mood. To both, it's evidence that illumination is never absolute. It's always shaped by perspective. In ancient times, people mistook the moon's glow for a form of spiritual energy, a reflection of the soul, a bridge between worlds. They weren't wrong in a symbolic sense. The same photons that warmed the first forests now glide across your skin when you stand beneath the moon. That continuity is its quiet magic. During an eclipse, when Earth's shadow falls upon the moon, the reflection dims into red. This blood moon is not the moon burning, but sunlight filtered through our atmosphere, the scattered glow of every dawn and sunset on Earth, refracted together. The moon wears our sky like a borrowed veil. It's humbling to realize that when the moon turns red, it's glowing with Earth's collective light. It becomes, for a moment, a mirror of humanity itself, all our mornings and evenings condensed into one celestial ember. In that color, there's connection. We often think of the moon as remote, yet its light constantly passes through us. It strikes oceans, forests, windows, and eyes, then bounces outward again. Each beam carries traces of our world, moisture, dust, reflection. The boundary between here and there dissolves. The Apollo astronauts said the lunar surface was dazzlingly bright under sunlight, yet the sky above it remained black, no atmosphere to scatter light. They described the glare as unreal, as if walking inside the reflection itself. Standing there, they became part of the same geometry, bodies borrowing light from a borrowed light. In photographs, you can see their footprints still crisp in the dust. No wind will erase them for millions of years. Each print is a fossil of reflection, a record of light, motion, and memory made eternal by stillness. When you look up tonight, realize you're seeing sunlight softened by empathy. The moon is proof that radiance doesn't need ownership. It thrives on sharing. It gathers light from violence and returns it as peace. Perhaps that's why the moon has always inspired calm. Its light isn't forceful. It doesn't demand attention. It invites it. It teaches that illumination can be gentle, that even the fiercest energy can become tenderness when reflected through distance and time. The moon's borrowed glow becomes our metaphor for grace. We, too, shine best when reflecting what's greater than ourselves. Wisdom, kindness, understanding. To borrow light is not weakness, it's participation in something vast. As long as the sun burns, the moon will continue this quiet exchange, absorbing brilliance, returning tranquility. And long after our species is gone, that silver light will still fall on silent oceans, whispering across the ruins of forgotten cities. The universe remembers how to share. So next time you see the moon rise, take a breath. Know that its light is ancient, borrowed, and entirely yours for the moment. That faint silver path across the night isn't just illumination, it's inheritance, gently passing through your gaze before continuing its endless journey through space. Time moves differently under moonlight. It stretches, softens, and slows, as if light itself were sighing. Ancient people sensed this instinctively. Nights with the full moon felt longer, nights of darkness shorter. Though the moon doesn't change time's pace, it changes our perception of it. Its cycles are the first calendar humanity ever kept, the rhythm by which civilizations learned to count the invisible. Before clocks or mathematics, there was the moon. Each waxing crescent marked growth, each full circle completion, each fading arc release. To early humans, these shifts weren't abstract, they were lived. Planting, hunting, migration, and ceremony followed the moon's slow choreography. It was not just a light in the sky, it was the measure of continuity itself. Even now, time and the moon remain intertwined. Our concept of a month, roughly 29.5 days, exists because of its orbit. The same gentle pull that raises tides also moves our calendars. The moon became the earliest bridge between motion and meaning, between physics and poetry. But the moon's relationship with time goes deeper. It literally changes the length of Earth's days. Each tidal interaction steals a little of Earth's rotation energy and transfers it to the moon, pushing it farther away. As the moon drifts outward, Earth's spin slows, imperceptibly, yet steadily. Our days lengthen by milliseconds each century. That means the moon is not only our clock, but our sculptor of time. Billions of years ago, a day lasted only 6 hours. As the moon tamed Earth's spin, it stretched the rhythm of dawn and dusk, making life possible. Without this gradual slowing, complex ecosystems dependent on stable light cycles might never have emerged. Every second you live carries the moon's signature. The flow of time you experience, the pace of morning, the arc of night, is a collaboration between planet and satellite, a duet written in gravity. The moon shapes not just tides, but the heartbeat of history. In that sense, time isn't constant, it's relational. It bends and adapts to motion. The moon, by keeping its pace with Earth, locks both worlds into a mutual rhythm that will outlast everything human. This shared tempo is why lunar eclipses, tides, and even the rise of coral reefs occur predictably. It's not just astronomy, it's choreography. Einstein showed us that time itself is affected by gravity. Where gravity is stronger, time moves slower. On the moon's surface, with weaker gravity, time runs faster than on Earth by about 56 microseconds per day. That means astronauts age ever so slightly quicker while standing there, though they wouldn't feel it. The moon, in a way, is a time machine. Not by travel, but by subtle divergence. This difference may be microscopic, yet it reminds us how fragile our definitions are. Even seconds are subjective when space itself curves. The universe doesn't keep time the way we do. It simply allows change to happen, endlessly and without apology. Every lunar phase is an emblem of that change. The moon waxes and wanes, yet never truly vanishes. It becomes a visual metaphor for renewal. That absence isn't loss, it's preparation. That every dark night is only a pause before light's return. In some cultures, the new moon represents death and rebirth. In others, reflection and intention. Across time, it has been a teacher of patience, showing that endings are never abrupt, only cyclical. It's a story written not in words, but in recurrence. Astronomers track the moon's orbit with lasers, bouncing beams off mirrors left by Apollo missions. Each reflected photon carries a timestamp, measuring its distance to within millimeters. These experiments don't just confirm the moon's slow drift. They let us watch time unfolding in real space, second by second, light pulse by light pulse. When you think about it, that's extraordinary. We measure cosmic history using light that returns from our own reflection. Time, light, and gravity, three faces of the same mystery, all converging on that silent world. To gaze at the moon is to glimpse time's dual nature, relentless yet circular, forward yet familiar. It reminds us that progress and repetition are not opposites. They're partners, just as the moon and Earth are. When we look up, we're not just observing a celestial body, we're looking at the history of timekeeping itself. Every clock, every calendar, every second-hand turning quietly in the dark is an echo of that ancient orbit, refined into human language. There's something humbling about knowing our inventions, atomic clocks, satellites, equations, are all attempts to mimic what the moon has done effortlessly for billions of years, maintain rhythm. It's the universe's most reliable heartbeat. Even in our sleep, the moon governs our inner timing. Studies show that human sleep cycles subtly change with its phases. We fall asleep later near the full moon, dream more vividly, and wake with altered brain rhythms. The moon's gravity may not directly cause it. Perhaps its light or our ancestry does. But something deep within us still listens. The same light that once guided nocturnal hunters now glows through curtains and screens, reminding us of continuity. Time hasn't left the moon behind. It flows through it like wind through an ancient tree. If time had a face, it might look like the moon, marked, luminous, serene, aging without aging. Its scars are its stories, its rhythm, its wisdom. It turns not in haste, but in grace. When you stand beneath it, realize you are synchronized, your heartbeat, your tides, your seconds all moving with its silent pulse. You are not separate from cosmic time. You are made of it. The moon doesn't count hours or measure progress. It teaches patience. It doesn't rush. It doesn't end. It simply continues, reminding us that eternity isn't infinite time. It's perfect rhythm. So when the night stretches long and the moon lingers high, remember that time isn't running away, it's dancing. And like the moon, the only way to stay in step is to keep turning, steadily, softly, without fear of what comes next. Long before humans measured the stars, the moon was already shaping life. It pulled at oceans, guided migrations, and whispered rhythms into the genes of every creature that ever crawled, swam, or sang beneath its light. Even now, though we live surrounded by artificial illumination, that ancient rhythm still hums inside us, a quiet biological memory of the moon's pull. Tides are its most visible gift. As the moon's gravity draws the seas toward it, water bulges outward, creating the rhythmic rise and fall that has sculpted coastlines for billions of years. Without tides, marine ecosystems would be static, starved of oxygen and motion. The moon's gravity stirs life like a cosmic spoon, ensuring that the oceans breathe. On beaches around the world, whole species time their existence to the moon's dance. Coral reefs, for example, release their eggs and sperm all at once during specific lunar phases, an underwater snowfall of life synchronized with gravity itself. If the moon vanished, these biological clocks would falter, their ancient coordination dissolving into chaos. Even on land, creatures respond to lunar light. Night-migrating birds adjust their routes by the glow of the moon. Certain insects synchronize their emergence with its cycle. The night sky is not merely backdrop, it's instruction, guiding behavior across species. Life listens not just to the sun's rhythm, but to the moon's whisper. Humans, too, are listeners, though we often forget. Long before artificial clocks, our ancestors marked time by lunar phases. Festivals, rituals, and harvests all followed the moon's path. Its influence was practical, spiritual, and emotional, a celestial mirror for the cycles of birth, growth, and decay we see in ourselves. Modern science confirms what ancient intuition already knew. Our biology is subtly lunar. Studies show fluctuations in human sleep and hormone cycles corresponding to lunar phases, women's reproductive rhythms, too, historically aligned with the moon's period, a 29.5-day cycle. It's as though evolution tuned life's inner metronome to the moon's steady beat. Even the brain seems to notice. Research suggests that during full moons, we experience slightly reduced deep sleep and increased vivid dreaming. The effect is small but measurable. Something ancient still stirs when the night brightens. Some part of us remembers when that light meant safety, movement, or ceremony. In that sense, the moon isn't just a distant sphere, it's a participant in life's symphony. Its influence doesn't dominate, it harmonizes, subtle yet indispensable. It's a reminder that power can be soft, that the greatest forces often work invisibly and slowly, shaping without shouting. Tidal patterns also influence weather. The constant motion of ocean currents, driven partly by lunar gravity, helps regulate Earth's temperature. Without this gentle stirring, climate systems would stagnate, growing extreme and unstable. The moon is, indirectly, a climate stabilizer, turning the planet into a self-cooling, self-renewing organism. Marine animals, from tiny plankton to mighty whales, rely on tides to navigate and feed. Their migrations trace invisible lunar routes across the oceans. The moon's gravity is like a silent conductor, guiding a biological orchestra whose players never see their maestro. It's poetic and literal to say that the moon keeps life moving. Its gravitational touch reaches through salt water, bone marrow, and time itself. The same pull that lifts the tides stirs the fluid inside every living cell, syncing micro and macro into one vast rhythm. In laboratories, scientists have noticed that plants grown in lunar cycles display subtle differences in water absorption and growth. Ancient farmers, without data or sensors, somehow sensed this and planted by moonlight. Perhaps intuition was simply memory, carried forward through generations that learned to read the night. Even now, our language carries that bond. Words like lunatic, moonstruck, and lunation trace how humans have long associated emotion and rhythm with the moon. In every culture, it's a symbol of change, not erratic change but recurring transformation, comforting in its predictability. Astronomically, the moon's tilt and orbit stabilize Earth's axis, preventing chaotic climate swings. Without it, seasons would lurch violently, poles might melt or freeze unpredictably. The moon gives Earth balance, the calm rotation that allowed life to flourish over eons. That stability may be the most profound of its influences. It's not dramatic like tidal waves, but it's foundational. Every ecosystem, every migration, every human civilization depends on predictable seasons. The moon, by anchoring Earth's tilt, ensured that chaos never became the rule. You could say that the moon taught Earth how to breathe evenly. It turned a spinning rock into a home, a chaos of forces into a pattern. It's the reason day follows night with dependable grace, why spring returns after winter. Its presence gave time structure, and structure gave life the space to evolve. Perhaps that's why humans have always looked up at it and felt comfort. The moon doesn't change erratically like the weather. It follows its path with quiet faithfulness. In its repetition, we find reassurance. We may not control the tides or the seasons, but we can trust their return. Artists, poets, and lovers have always felt that pull too. The moon became a symbol of longing because its influence mirrors emotion itself, constant, cyclical, gravitational. Love and tides follow similar laws, drawn by invisible forces, shaped by distance, and yet eternally recurring. Even science, for all its measurements, can't fully explain why the moon feels alive to us. Its influence reaches beyond physics into perception, into the human soul's tendency to see meaning in rhythm. Perhaps the truest form of intelligence is the ability to recognize connection, and the moon is our oldest connection beyond Earth. When astronauts looked back and saw Earth rising above the lunar horizon, they described a wave of emotion, awe, loneliness, peace. The moon, silent as ever, simply reflected what they already carried inside. It shows us who we are by revealing where we are, small, fragile, luminous for a moment in a vast sea. So the next time you feel the tide pulling, remember, it's the same hand that cradles the oceans, that steadies the planet, that tugs faintly at the blood in your veins. The moon isn't distant. It's intimate, ancient, and ceaselessly present, shaping everything that breathes. And when you close your eyes under its glow, maybe what you feel isn't gravity, but gratitude. The quiet awareness that life's most profound connections are not spoken, but felt again and again every time the moon rises. The moon always shows us the same face. For thousands of years, it has gazed at Earth with a single expression. The same craters, the same shadows, the same quiet smile of stone. The other side, forever hidden, remained a mystery until the 20th century. This phenomenon isn't coincidence. It's the natural end of gravity's long negotiation with time. This locked orientation is called tidal locking. Over billions of years, Earth's gravity slowed the moon's rotation until it perfectly matched its orbit. Now, one side always faces us, and the other looks away, unseen. That synchronization is why the moon appears serene. It's in perfect equilibrium, turning and orbiting in harmony. To imagine the far side is to imagine the unknown. When spacecraft first photographed it, scientists were stunned. It was rougher, scarred by more craters, lacking the dark basalt plains, the maria, that make the near side familiar. It was the moon's secret face, weathered and ancient, untouched by the gaze of any living eye. Why the difference? The answer lies in geology and heat. Early in its history, The near side remained molten longer because Earth's gravity pulled its internal materials unevenly. That gravitational tug thinned the crust on the side facing us, allowing volcanic activity to fill impact basins with dark rock. The far side, thicker and cooler, preserved its scars untouched. So while the near side reflects history's poetry, the far side holds its memory. It's a record of everything that struck the moon before humans ever looked up, a mirror not of beauty, but endurance. When the Soviet probe Luna 3 captured the first images of the far side in 1959, it changed our relationship with the moon. Suddenly, it wasn't a flat disk of light, but a complete world, half mystery, half memory. That revelation reshaped astronomy and imagination alike. The far side is almost never seen from Earth, yet it's always there, illuminated by sunlight we can't witness. Even as we stare at the bright face, the hidden half glows in silence. That unseen light is a metaphor, that reality extends beyond perception, that the unknown continues to shine even without witnesses. Astronauts who orbited the moon describe losing radio contact while passing behind it. For about 40 minutes, Earth vanished. The radio static fell silent. No voices, no signals, just the hum of the ship and the black curve of lunar shadow. They called it loss of signal. Alone, yet not abandoned. Imagine floating there, surrounded by darkness, knowing an entire world is waiting on the other side. That's what the far side represents, the unseen, the eternal, the half of existence that never faces us directly. It's a reminder that mystery isn't absence, it's balance. The universe is full of locked dances like this. Pluto and its moon Charon face each other perpetually, each showing only one side. Across the cosmos, countless worlds are tidally bound, forever entwined in quiet orbits of devotion. The moon's stillness isn't stagnation, it's companionship perfected. In that sense, the far side of the moon isn't lonely, it's simply loyal. It has chosen its partner, and in doing so, found peace. Perhaps there's a lesson there, that constancy, not visibility, defines connection. When scientists placed instruments on the far side, they discovered a place untouched by Earth's radio interference, pure silence. Some now dream of building observatories there, listening to the whispers of the early universe. The moon's hidden face may one day become humanity's ear to creation. That poetic symmetry feels intentional, though it isn't. The side that has never heard us may be the one that finally helps us hear the cosmos. In silence, discovery. In stillness, revelation. Every rotation, every orbit, every eclipse proves that balance doesn't require motion. It requires alignment. The moon's two faces, one visible, one eternal, form a perfect whole, just as knowledge and mystery form the complete experience of wonder. Even now, the far side remains unseen by human eyes directly. Only cameras and instruments have glimpsed it. Yet its presence shapes every moonrise. We see half, but feel the whole, an echo of how we perceive everything in existence. Partially, beautifully, incompletely. The lunar far side is scarred, rugged, and quiet. It carries the imprints of asteroids, the handwriting of time. It reminds us that perfection isn't smoothness, it's endurance. That beauty doesn't need symmetry, only sincerity. The moon doesn't rotate less, it rotates just enough. Every time it completes one orbit around Earth, it also completes one turn on its axis. That harmony is called synchronous rotation, a celestial balance born from friction, gravity, and patience. Perhaps that's why we find comfort in looking at it. Deep down, we recognize the same story in ourselves, the slow synchronization between motion and meaning, between orbit and identity. The moon's locked face symbolizes stillness, but its orbit speaks of movement. It's a paradox that mirrors life. To remain steady, you must keep turning. To stay aligned, you must continue evolving. If you could stand on the far side, Earth would never rise. The sky would remain a tapestry of stars, eternal and unmoving. The silence would be absolute. No wind, no sound, only the faint tremor of your own pulse. Yet, through that stillness, you might feel something vast, the hum of the universe, ancient and continuous. The moon's far side is our reminder that every light we see hides a shadow, and every shadow belongs to something radiant. Knowledge and mystery are not rivals. They complete one another, like two sides of the same orbit. And so, while we'll never see that hidden face with our own eyes, we are connected to it through motion, reflection, and time. Its silence balances our noise. Its solitude mirrors our longing. The far side of the moon is not beyond us. It is within us, the unseen half of every human soul that gazes upward, still searching for its reflection in the night sky. The moon, the tides, and time itself have carried us through this quiet journey. From the first spark of gravity to the stillness of synchronous motion, we've drifted across the fabric of space and returned to where we began, beneath the same soft glow that guided our ancestors. Every idea we explored tonight, spin, orbit, rhythm, reflection, is part of one greater truth, that everything in existence moves together, even when it seems still. The moon never truly stops turning. It simply turns in perfect harmony. And perhaps that's the hidden wisdom of the cosmos, not to fight motion, but to dance with it. The universe isn't rushing toward an end or circling aimlessly. It's balancing, pulsing, breathing. Every atom inside you participates in that rhythm, each particle humming in time with distant galaxies you will never see. When James Webb peers into the beginning of time, it isn't just looking backward, it's looking inward. The same light that left those first galaxies billions of years ago passes through your eyes tonight. That means the universe doesn't exist out there. It's happening within you, replayed through awareness, renewed through curiosity. You are made of observation itself, stardust that learned to notice its own reflection. Even the impossible images Webb has shown us, galaxies too old, stars too massive, patterns that defy models, remind us that mystery isn't failure. It's proof that the universe still surprises itself. We tend to believe that science is about answers, but its true beauty lies in wonder, in the humility of realizing how little we know and how exquisite that unknowing can feel. The more we see, the more we realize the cosmos is not chaos but conversation. Every photon, every wave, every orbit is communication. The moon speaks through tides, the sun whispers through warmth, the stars murmur through light that never dies. Even silence carries meaning, the kind that exists between breaths, between heartbeats, between questions. The telescope, then, isn't just a machine, it's an extension of our longing. When we send mirrors and sensors into space, we're not just studying the past, we're reaching for belonging. We want to know where we came from, not to control it, but to feel connected again. The more the universe expands, the more we ache to touch its edges, to remember that we, too, are part of its expansion. Perhaps that's why nights like this feel sacred. Under the moon's silver light, surrounded by the quiet hum of everything alive, you can sense that connection, invisible, yet undeniable. The same gravitational threads that hold planets in orbit bind you to this moment. You are not separate from cosmic order. You are its continuation. And though we live in an age of lights, screens, and clocks, the moon remains the truest timekeeper. Its patient return each night is a reminder that the universe does not hurry. It has been becoming itself for 14 billion years, and it will continue long after us. The moon doesn't chase purpose, It simply reflects what already is: light, shadow, and grace. You might wonder then what all of this means for us, small beings in a vast expanse. Maybe the meaning isn't in understanding everything, but in being moved by it. Science gives us data. Wonder gives us direction. The moon gives us both, a mirror for knowledge and a meditation for the soul. When you look up again after this, remember that everything you see is already in motion. Every particle, every memory, every heartbeat. Even the quiet you feel now is movement slowed to stillness. There is no true rest in the cosmos, only harmony, the infinite balancing of gravity and light, of silence and sound, of knowing and mystery. If this quiet journey brought you a moment of peace, I'm deeply grateful you spent it here with me. Tell me in the comments where you are tonight and what time it is. I love imagining this constellation of minds scattered across the world, all staring at the same moon. Together, we are the reflection of its light, billions of tiny observers holding hands across time. Your presence here matters more than you realize. Every person who pauses to listen, to learn to feel wonder again, you are keeping the rhythm alive. You are part of the same grand motion that began with the first stars, continued through oceans, and now speaks through your quiet attention. So, as the night deepens, let your thoughts drift one last time. Picture the moon suspended above endless darkness, turning, glowing, waiting. Its silence isn't emptiness, it's understanding. The universe does not rush, and neither should you. You are already moving at the speed of belonging. Thank you for being part of this cosmic whisper. May your dreams tonight be filled with orbit and light, with the calm certainty that nothing in existence is truly still, not even you. Until next time, traveler, keep drifting gently through science,